Hello everyone. Welcome to Petropod. This is the official podcast for SPE IIT ISM student chapter. I'm Jyotiraditya Singh and I'm joined by my co-host today, Ananya Kastia. And today we are excited to welcome our guest, Sayanima Kisku Ma'am. I proudly say that Sayanima Ma'am is an alumni of our college 2011 Petroleum Engineering batch, worked as a reservoir engineer at oil and natural gas company for 12 years. She is now an upstream research analyst at Wood Mackenzie, and she was named Young Achiever of the Year in the oil and gas industry in 2022 by the Federation of Indian Petroleum Industry, and was recognized in 2022 by SPE as one of SPE TWA as one of the 10 young professionals worldwide who inspire others in the industry, and hopefully will be inspired too. Hello, ma'am. That was a very formal list of things we researched, but we'll talk more. Yeah.
Yes, that was so formal. It kind of you said, Jyoti, that you're going to have a very informal chat, but that came out as so formal. Now I'm
Yeah, I guess
kind of under pressure. But okay,
now you have to live up to these expectations, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
exactly. Too much of pressure.
No, no,
I'm
ma'am,
kidding. I'm kidding.
totally. You are extremely inspirational the way you are. There is no pressure. And ma'am,
Yeah.
firstly, I would like to ask that we saw that you have been involved with Society of Petroleum Engineers (SP) for 13 years in various capacities. So, how does it feel that you're being featured in a podcast by SP once again?
Feels awesome, and I am very thankful to SP. SP has a very big part to play in whatever I have achieved till now, if I've achieved anything. And I feel from where I started 2007 when I joined SPE, I was in first year, and from till 2024, I think SPE has been a big has played a very major role, and so it really feels really good to be back talking to you all. You all must have just started your journey with SPE, and
Yeah.
I can assure that it's a very fruitful journey. You'll have a very fruitful journey. SP gives you a lot, and to include, SP gives very good food. We go to these conferences for those SP lunches. They they are really good. So it feels absolutely awesome if I am supposed to, or if I am expected to use two words. Yes.
That's great. That's great. And I think we will also learn a lot being a part of SP. Ma'am, as we saw that you are now working with a $2.8 billion company, Wood Mackenzie. So, would you like to share something about your new role as a research analyst there, and how did you secure a position at such a prestigious organization?
Okay. To then I have to go 2 years back. So I did my master's from Heriott-Watt. I graduated in 2023. So can I start from why I went to Heriott-Watt?
Yes, ma'am,
That will
sure.
kind of
Yeah.
answer your question. I've always wanted to go to Heriott-Watt. I mean, it's one of the best in petroleum engineering, and I, that's what I knew, and it was proven true when I did my 1 year's master's there. It's really like a very enriching experience to learn from those people, the professors over there. So, well, I wanted to do my master's much earlier. I was a little too late. First, I met my current husband, and we thought, okay, we'll get married. That delayed it. And then COVID happened. So it got delayed by 2, 3 more years. But eventually, I went there. And there I met my professor, Dr. Babak. He worked with Equinor as a petroleum economist or a strategy and optimization person. And he kind of inspired me to move from pure technical to a more commercial side of the business, because he felt that if you're in the industry and you've already got 10 years or 11 years of technical behind you. So doing 3 or 4 more years of technical actually doesn't add up a lot in your portfolio. So it's good to have a mix and match, to have a little bit of commercial in your portfolio. So he inspired me, and Wood Mackenzie has a good tie-up with Heriott-Watt. Uh, my manager is from Heriott-Watt. His manager is from Heriott-Watt. So they came for a career fair. I spoke to my manager's manager there, and we had a nice chat. And yes, I like the work that they do, and it was something different, something that I have not done before. Though I was covering North Sea at Heriott-Watt. I mean, our course was based on North Sea, but right now I cover sub-Saharan African nations at Wood Mackenzie. Um, so yes, we spoke a lot. So let's go back to your question: is how does it feel to work at Wood Mackenzie? It feels great to work with people from all over the country. We have our base in Nigeria, we have our base in India. So in the morning meeting, it's afternoon in India, and 1 hour, Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of us. So yes, it actually feels different from what I have done all these 10, 11 years. And I loved being a reservoir engineer. If given an opportunity, I would just go back to making reservoir models. But I felt at this point of time, after being in the industry for 11, 12 years, it was the right time for me to broaden my horizons.
Okay, that was that explains a lot about the whole story. But I guess we'll go behind this part and continue with when you were. And yeah, I guess like having worked with ONGC for such a long time, and also been observing the conditions abroad. Did you notice any differences in the oil and gas sector, like nationally or internationally, among these two?
Um, Depends on which sector are you talking about. So when I was doing my master's, so most of my data was North Sea based, and the project that we had was a field that was operated by BP. So what I observed was what they did back in the 90s is what we were trying to do in the 2020s in India. So the technology was there, probably not brought to the country or probably not implemented. I don't know where it stopped. For example, I worked on integrated asset models. So BP started that long back in the early 90s. But in our country, there was a JV between BP, ONGC, Shell. They did it in 2008, 2009. So that is the gap. So it's not that things are not happening in our country. And when I say in our country, I mean India. It's not that it's not happening. Probably it's a little delayed, but things are picking up. I must say it looks bright to me. At least when I moved from India to the UK, it's pretty bright to me the way we are using the technologies. Um, it's just that it needs to be a little fast paced. That's the only difference that I see.
That's really good to hear. Very glad to see that even India is advancing. Ma'am, I would like to ask that even after such a extensive work experience at ONGC, how did you like? Why did you find that there's a need to switch and you decided to do your masters and then further in Mackenzie?
Mm. As I said, Ananya, I like to learn new things. So whenever I feel there's I'm getting a little stagnant, then I look for more challenges. So again, I wanted to go back to Heriott-Watt. I wanted to study at Heriott-Watt. I don't know. We used to have that DC plus plus. This might be censored. You might need to get that off the recording. So This was a sharing platform in ISM, in intranet. So within the campus. So there used to be a lot of stuff in there, both entertaining and educational. In the educational part, had notes or study material from Heriott-Watt. And I saw that when I went to ONGC, people were still using Heriott-Watt notes. They're really good. So if you get a chance, lay your hands on them. They're really good. And that kind of motivated me. Oh, everywhere in India, people are using Heriot notes. There has to be something special about that place. And in 2011, I had a training. Um, it was one of those CMG simulators. Someone from CMG, they came to ONGC to give us the training. And he was from Heriot. And I liked the clarity he had. It was, he knew the fundamentals. And and I asked him like, oh, what did you do? So he did his engineering from India and then went to do his masters. And I decided that I'm going to go to that university. And I ended up meeting someone else in ONGC. He was working for another consultancy. So so ONGC hired them to as a consultant. So I worked with him. Even he was from Heriot. So yes, that was my romance for Heriott-Watt or with Heriott-Watt was leading in a very clear path. And yes, and I decided why not give it a try. So that's why I gave it a try. And I really liked what I learned there. And as I said, Dr. Babak inspired me to take up something new. He threw that challenge at me that why don't you move to commercial? And that's why I moved, and I'm here now.
Now all that leads to the SPE podcast. Yeah, but there was also you did your MBA at UPES, and like many of us in our college too, probably in this call too, are thinking about MBA at some point in their career. So, like, is it something that like if you like it, you should do it, or everyone should pursue it? Is it like that?
I did it for a different reason. So around that time, I was made. What was the role? I can't remember. So basically, I had to manage a project with ONGC, and I was the lead reservoir engineer in that project. So that's when I realized I needed to brush up my petroleum economic skills. I remember Dr. T. Kumar taught us. I still had his notes, but that wasn't enough. So I really needed to upskill myself at that point of time. And this course was there. So I thought, why not do it? And it'll help me with this project. That's why I signed up for it. And it really helped me with that project and so on and so forth. Even now it helps. About MBA, I would suggest is you are already investing your 4 years, or some of you might be doing integrated course. I don't know whether it's still there in ISM. If it is, you'll be spending 5 years. There's no rush to dart to MBA unless you have a fixed plan that, okay, I'm going to do my engineering, then I'm going to do my MBA, and then I'm going to become a consultant. But if you're spending that much time to learn something, why not go and use it? That is what I think. You do not have to agree with that. A lot of people, someone else who might come to your podcast might say something completely different, but this is my view. It's always good to have an engineering background when you're managing something. That's what I feel. For example, I was having a chat with ONGC too. She was working as a production engineer, and I was working as a reservoir engineer at the same company. And then she went to do her MBA from Cornell. And she now is with a big wind energy firm. So she was being a consultant somewhere, consulting on a project. And she said that what she learned being a production engineer on the platform in ONGC, that really came into use while making decisions. So I would suggest that yes, use your whatever you're learning, and there's no need to unlearn basically. So
Yeah.
go get the experience and then move over to MBA.
That's a great approach. Wonderful tip. Ma'am, as you must be knowing that there's a myth in this industry that I don't know if it's a myth or it's the reality, or we are moving towards it, that the involvement or the inclusivity of women in this industry, the oil and gas sector, has been relatively lesser. So, what would you like to advise? Like, will you encourage women to pursue a career in the oil and gas sector?
Why won't I? Why won't I encourage women to do anything that they want or that they aspire to? There will be difficulties, there will be challenges, but that doesn't stop you to go and do something. There's no problem if you're the first person, just make sure you're not the last one there. So that puts a lot of responsibility on you. In terms of numbers, if you say, so Ananya, how many female students do you have in your class now? Like, if you just give me a percentage.
Ma'am, it must be a 20-70 ratio, I would say.
20 girls.
20.
Some,
Even I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I felt there was something close to 10. Frankly.
oh, so you thought it was worse?
No, it
The
has
ratio.
so it has become better, but yeah, still 20-70, I would say, not more than that.
So that really inspires me, you know. So when I was back in the classroom, we were two in a class of 75 to two girls, 73 boys. The year before me, there were three girls, and I don't know the exact strength, but somewhat close. Um, when I was in, so we used to have our classes in the main building, first floor. There was no female or ladies toilet there in that building. I had to go to room to use the bathroom and then come back. There was the new lecture theater. It's no more new now. It was new then, but the female toilets were not accessible. They were locked. Uh, it's a difficult story, but it wasn't a very easy time for us. And then I asked someone, why don't we have female toilets in the main building? They said because we never had that many girls to have a toilet there. And there was mining, who was on the ground floor, and that time girls were not admitted to mining. It was just boys, and you were just two females in petroleum, and there were some more in geology, geophysics. So they thought it was easier if we go somewhere else and use a bathroom. So that's when I decided, you know, I'm going to inspire more girls. So they built one accessible toilet in the building so that that girl doesn't have to go back to Ruby, go back to the hostel to use the bathrooms. So as I was saying, it will be difficult. We are still less in number, even if in the when you start in a company, there might be more, but as you grow, there might be lesser and lesser. And I won't be giving numbers over here, but it's seen that there are fewer females in the mid level. Again, we have more women in boardrooms because every company there's a tick box, and whatever it is, as long as we have more women, why not? Even if it's a tick box, it's good to be represented. It's good to see people in front of you, or have role models whom you can actually go and touch. Not literally, but they are there, so you can aspire to be there. So again, I lost track. What was the question?
No,
Did I
that
answer?
answered the question. Yes, yes, totally.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, now there are proper female washrooms everywhere, thanks to people like you. And
Yeah, go ahead.
ma'am, but still, even to like in this day and time, we see there's some aversion to fields like geology or petroleum mining. But like, is it really true that girls do face a lot of problems when they're on on-field jobs, or is it equally suitable for them as well?
Mm, uh, what? See, if you are saying, so the problems are mainly two things. One is safety, and the other thing is the accessibility to safe work. I mean, it comes down to safety, isn't it? So when I say to toilets or bathrooms, um, it is because you need a safe environment. Challenges are always there. Challenges will be there. Uh, but what I feel is if we are not more in numbers, if we back out thinking, okay, there will be challenges, I won't go, then the story is never going to change. Is if you're a man and you don't want to go to the platform, you want to go, you want to do your modeling, you want to sit in a room, you want to sit in an AC room and work, that's your choice. And there's nothing wrong. But if you're a man, so if it's Jyotiraditya and Ananya, uh, the societal mindset is Jyotiraditya has to go to the field. Ananya can sit in the room and do the modeling. What if Jyotiraditya doesn't want to go to the field and sit in the room and do the modeling and Ananya wants to go to the field? What's wrong in that?
That's
But
true.
there's a societal pressure on Jyoti to go to the field. That's also not right.
I
So
see.
somewhere the equation has to change and it changes with us, I think.
Absolutely.
That understand. So, like, other than these technical issues or like problems like these, did you ever face some sort of discrimination on your career based on like anything, based on anything, not necessarily gender, but any form of discrimination, or you felt like some equal counterpart of yours got better opportunities, you being of the same caliber?
Find me one person who has not faced discrimination. Again, it does not have to be gender, it does not have to be nationality, it does not have to be your how you are. You know, health wise, you might not be very big and strong to do something or tall to stand out in the crowd. Everyone has faced discrimination somewhere in there. Even you both, I'm sure, like you have completed your school. Now you're in a university. Somewhere you might have faced some kind of discrimination, isn't it? So the most important thing is to get you make yourself heard. So if you are being discriminated, don't be quiet. Speak out. There'll be someone to help you and make sure that that doesn't get repeated. So if you're getting discriminated, just don't keep quiet and don't give up. That's what I follow. So just don't say, I got discriminated. Not for me. I'm not going to go ahead do it. No, don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Just do it. Now I'm not
Just do
sponsoring
it.
either.
Absolutely, ma'am.
That came into my mind too. Yeah, but other than these things, like discrimination again can be vary from person to person. But there's this. I don't know if it's a fact. It's a thing that a lot of high-paying jobs in the offshore sector. There are a lot of high-paying jobs in the offshore sector, but like of the same job profile, but uh, men are given preference, or women sometimes are not even open for those jobs. Or like in Saudi and all, there's a lot of issues with inclusion with women. Is that true?
Um, I can't say specifically of a country. Different country have different rules. Um, for example, when I said in India, when I was there in ISM, ISM would not take female students in mining at that point of time, but it has changed. So rules keep changing, but countries have different rules. Companies usually have to change their rules based on which country they're operating. So if I start working offshore, it is difficult for both men and women. Um, so it is a difficult job, irrespective of your gender. It is a hard job. I've been to offshore, but I wasn't working, like I didn't have shifts to work in offshore, but I know how it feels to be there even, and think about working in those conditions. Uh, I have very close female friends who have done shifts in offshore. Very close friends. Uh, they Two of them are not with ONGC anymore. They have moved over to renewables. One is still there, but she's about to leave. They did their shifts on the platform, and what I get back or got back from them was discrimination is there, hard work is there, but at the same time, we are, as women, we are also evolving. So I'll give you an example. So my mom didn't used to do weights back in the gym when she was young. I do weights, I run, I'm strong. Okay. So yesterday we had a scavenger hunt in our company. So we had to go around the city. It was at the end of the day, saw I did 15 kilometers in like 2-3 hours, and that has to be like going up the hill, down the hill. So it's challenging, and I feel women now are uh, like strength wise, physical strength wise, they are evolving. They are much more stronger. So again, uh, there is always help if you're in offshore. So you don't have to do everything by yourself. If you need to open a valve, you don't have to do it by yourself. There are other people, and there might be a guy who would need help too. So to have that blockage in your mind that, oh, I might have to do things by myself, I might not be strong enough, I might not be welcome. Let's not have them. And at the same time, it doesn't mean if you are not doing a field job, being an engineer doesn't mean that uh, you have not explored the best. You are doing things according to your suitability. As I said, if you feel you want to sit in a room, get paid maybe 2-3 times less than your colleague who's working offshore, there's no problem. If you're happy with it, why not? But if you want to do that, do it. I mean, obviously, if you want to do it in a certain country where there are still rules that they'll not allow women, then probably you have to choose a different country. But yeah, I really don't. I'm not a believer of something like, okay, there'll be less opportunities and it might be difficult. So not that's really fine. No, go for it if you feel like it. If you don't feel like it, don't. I want to do it for sure. I don't know when, but I'll do it. From where I don't know, but I'll do it. Because I like going back to a classroom, and so when I went back to Heriott-Watt, I was scared. I was very scared. I, I was doing reservoir engineering, so I wasn't that scared with reservoir engineering, but I was terrified of mechanics back in ISM, and I knew I would have subjects there where I would have to work hard, and I did. And my professor was in Heriott-Watt. He was French, and he used to think that he was speaking English when he came to the class, but he was actually speaking French, so which made things much more difficult for us. But it's scary, but at the same time, as I said, I realized that I still remember things that I learned back in ISM. So you don't forget; it's there somewhere. So again, again, a suggestion, because it's podcast for you all, is whatever you're learning, whatever is there in your syllabus, try to retain as much as possible. Don't just do it. It sounds a little what should I say? Elderly advice. don't just don't just mug up before the exams. I did it, so I'm no one to advise, but I'm advising you because I'm sitting here now. I've already done that. 10 years, 11 years in the industry, so I'm advising you. Yes, as much as you can retain, it really helps. It's there somewhere. You can always retrieve it back, and would love to go back to a classroom once again. and do my PhD.
Surely, ma'am, waiting for the day you'll be doing your PhD and completing it. And yes, we'll keep that in mind because we are going to be starting with our core studies soon. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. Ma'am,
Yes,
you were
still,
the,
I'll just remember that month. So, there's still a month before we start studying.
yeah. Ma'am, you were the communications and outreach chairperson at the student chapter of SPE at Heriott-Watt. So,
Hmm.
what unique experiences or skills did you gain, like which was different from the previous experience you had at SPE?
Okay, so I have always been very active with SPE. So when I went to Heriott-Watt, there was an SPE chapter, but I felt it was a little subdued. So so I was in uni again, and I had that 1 year, and I wanted to do everything in that 1 year: study, uh, play. I mean, do some kind of sport, start running, do more of these activities that you have right now. So there is so we have different clubs in Hereford. So we have this twice a year we have this fair where we set up our stalls and we try to induct people. So as a career, as an outreach chairperson, I told my professor that, I'm going to set up a stall, and somehow it was just uh, across from the stall that was Net Zero Society. So I had a tough time, me and Abby, we had a tough time explaining why people should also be interested in SPE and not only in net zero. So I think that was one of that was a great experience, and we could induct people in the club and at least grow an awareness that oil and gas is the option that we have, and there's no point shunning away from it. I know uh, oil is polluting, gas is polluting. It you use hydrocarbon, it will give out carbon. It will give out CO2. You cannot stop. But if we do not have the best brains working in the industry, working in this, then how are you going to get solutions to have a better future? So there's no point shunning it. Let's be part of it and then try to do something better. So yeah, that was what I said. I remember, and yeah, got people really interested. So I would take that back. That's a good memory that I have being an
That's
outreach.
that's revolutionary, and you have to fight. You're from petroleum engineering, and that's amazing. That's an amazing experience, I guess. Especially competing with Net Zero Society face to face. It would have been something. One of those moments, I guess. It should be written in some history books. Yeah. Continue on.
Yeah, ma'am, as you mentioned that it is uh, difficult, but it's not that it's that bad. So, what would you like to say about the future or scope of this industry? Like, is it booming or is it not? How is it like for us future engineers?
See, I'm sure you all are very aware. You are following the news. You know what is going around, and there are reports by IEA. There are reports like the different scenarios that we are going to have. So some may say the peak is very soon. I can't remember the dates. Some may say the highest demand will be in 2025, 26, and then the demand will decrease, but there will be demand. So population is increasing, our consumption is increasing. So there will be demand. There will be demand for energy, and it will be provided. As for oil and gas, I see a shift towards gas. And I realized it when I went to Heriot-Watt, and we saw most of our course was more gas oriented than oil. And even now, when I am working as a research analyst, I see the focus on gas, because if you compare oil coal, oil, and gas. Gas is obviously less polluting than coal and oil. So this is the first step that I see is having a more gas-based economy. So uh, gas is gas has its own challenges. Gas is not like oil that you can just transport from where you're producing. You need to have a market, and if not, then there comes LNGs and FLNGs, floating LNGs. So if you follow the news, and which I would really recommend all of you, even Jyoti, even before that 1 month ends, you should start following the news. It's interesting to know how the entire oil and gas industry over the world, how they are behaving or how they are acting. Uh, so yes, this is one part, and at the same time, there is focus on carbon capture, then carbon capture utilization, and storage, uh, hydrogen. It's all there. It's evolving. A lot of my friends are doing amazing work in these fields. They're all doing their PhDs and they're doing great work. And in the last few years, I've seen more and more work in hydrogen. People are more interested to take up projects that are hydrogen related or CCS related than pure oil and gas related. Again, I would say, since I had a module of carbon capture, I would say the basis is all that you learn now. The math, the physics is all the same. It's just you go and use it for something else. So the redundancy that you all might be scared of, okay, I'm a petroleum engineer now. Will I be made redundant in the near future because of the energy transition? Uh, you might not be doing the same job that I did when I joined the company, but your skills that you learn will still be useful in doing a little different job. That's all I would say and suggest. So I hope you get the message. And again, it wouldn't take long. Uh, that we are just one invention away for something drastic. So people who are working, do you guys even know what pagers were? Paging system. I mean, I won't be no. So before mobile phones came, there used to be if you watch an old season one of Friends. Now, I hope you all know what
Yeah.
Friends is.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm not that old. Okay, so if you see season one of Friends, you'll see Ross having a pager. So they used to get messages, and you couldn't reply back. So you get a message, so you either call back that person. So that industry just vanished when mobile phones came in, when advancement in mobile phones happened. So again, we are just one invention away from a complete change of scenario. But as of now, we still do not have that invention.
I guess you've been very proud of like Toastmasters here is doing great. Like it's a club
So,
and people are doing good here. So it's again as we reach the end, I guess we'll just have we have just one question that helps all of us in the call or watching for the audience that you have achieved so much in your career in a relatively short period of time, and like would you like to share some tips? Just straight up, I need help.
I think that will be more of a summary. What I've been saying throughout this 1 hour chat is have a plan. It really helps to have a plan. Have a plan from now, and then have a plan B. Have a plan A. Okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And if that doesn't work out, life doesn't come to an end, things don't end at all because often plan A doesn't work. There'll be a plan B, there'll be a plan C, there'll be a plan D. But things become easier if you approach something with a plan. So I had a plan. Okay, I do my engineering. I get a job with any of the companies. It didn't have to be ONGC. It's just it happened, and I don't know whether the rules are still the same. Is that you cannot, if you're selected in a core company in campus, that you cannot interview for another company, core company. So it was a rule back then. It still stays. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, and then the plan was to move to do my master's after 3-4 years, but didn't work out. I fell in love, got married. So that was my plan B. Is I had a great time working with ONGC at that point of time. Tried my best to do with what I had, and I remember this. You could have done better. But I am really happy. I was really happy, and what I learned from ONGC and my time there, I've made best of friends. I met my husband there, um, but I always had a plan to do something more, so I stuck to that. So the tip is have a plan, work towards it. If that doesn't work out, have a plan B, and don't work in silos. This is an industry. The like you're in a university now. You'll go to a company. It's an industry. Don't work in silos. You alone cannot achieve everything that you aspire to be. Yeah, I mean there are exceptions, but it's always good to interact with people, stay connected, stay visible. Uh, that really helps. That people should know what you are putting in, what you are doing. But that does not mean you put every little thing that you do on LinkedIn. I mean, you have your different socials. You can do that on Instagram. Facebook is for old days. I know you don't go on Facebook anymore. But it's good to let people know whatever you're doing. But because you might feel, it's not a lot. I shouldn't be showing that off. But that might be an achievement, and that might be something that people are looking for. So yes, and very importantly, have faith in yourself. Be confident of what you're doing. You're doing your best. Actually, you're doing your best. Jyotiraditya, if you're planning to take that 1 month break, there's no problem. You still do your best. Take that break, but stay connected and do your math and physics well. Don't bail out on that, and be happy with what you're doing. Be content, and be surrounded by friends and family. They are really helpful when something doesn't go right, and never have a sour relationship with anyone. You never know when that person will come in handy. Never burn your bridges. Always, at least professionally, always keep a good relationship with anyone that you meet professionally. Don't take it to that extent that you cannot reach back to him or her. Yeah, I think that's a lot of tips. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps.
Should have written it down somewhere. But yeah, I think
Recording it, so you can
yeah,
always play it again. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess that would be the end. But there's a really important question, and I think that's a really serious question to us at least. How did you enjoy today's podcast? Today's host, everything.
I had a blast. Really, I really enjoyed, and you both. I wished I could see Sahil, Shivam, Samar, Abhinav too. I would have known how they look. No pressure though. But really had a blast. So
Oh, are they there? Hopefully, I don't ruin the recording. But yeah.
No,
see, you should not put him down. He braved it, and he put put his camera on. It's a really good thing, and I really like it when who I'm talking to, or I mean, you could be on mute, but it's a very important thing. Is so if I see the face, I remember him. Then when you reach out to me, I saw him there. So that's another tip, Jyoti, by the way. I had a blast. You really. It was a great chat. It was a relaxed chat, and it was nice to relive those days. I know I behaved like an oldie and gave you a lot of
Not at all.
suggestions, saying, have your veggies and do your math and physics well.
That was really helpful, though.
but because I have gone past that. I know you don't want to study before your through your semester, and you should not be. You should be having fun. You should study before your exams, but it actually helps if you study a little more. So that's the only advice I'm giving from this side of the line. But yes, just enjoy these 4 years because you might not get them back again. And yeah, do this work and just do work with SPE more, and and make sure that all these efforts that you're putting, it gets seen by SPE, other people up in SPE, and SPE is a great organization, and it's really helpful, and people in SPE, they're really ready to help. So you're doing a brilliant job, and I would love to be there at ISM, meet all of you in person, and have a cup of coffee, or maybe you can take me to Bankmore and we just explore Dhanbad. That was to sound to be a great idea, but okay, so we can do that.
Yes,
Yes.
looking forward to that.
Absolutely, and keep doing this great work, and it feels great to be interacting with you guys. Well done, and thank you for having me. I wanted to say this long back, but thank you, really, thank you for having me.